Hey everybody, we've got a special dinner for you today. If you want something that's going to impress your family or impress your guests, this is the dinner for you. If you remember, we did a cruise video a couple weeks ago where we reviewed food that we had, and we asked you to vote on which dinner you'd like to see. So we have the winner now, and it's going to be Chicken Cordon Bleu. And let me show you how simple the ingredients are to put this together. We are just going to use some chicken breast. We're going to use Swiss cheese and some ham that's already sliced. And then we're going to use a little bit of breadcrumbs that we'll kind of bring together with some butter. And then we'll top it with a special sauce that we'll also make, and then probably put a little bit of parsley on top as well. I'll show you about how to make the sauce later, but for the basic ingredients of the actual chicken, this is all you need. So it's very simple, and I think you're going to love it. So we're going to prepare the chicken cordon bleu, and we're going to let you know how it stacks up against what we had on our cruise. I'm Mary Katherine, and welcome to my table. Let's jump on in and make this chicken cordon bleu. Before I get my hands dirty, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to spray my baking dish because we want to have it ready before we start working up the chicken. So I've got it ready. And then I'm going to do one other thing too at this point. I've got 1 cup of panko breadcrumbs, and I've got about 2 tablespoons of butter that I've melted. And I'm just going to stir these breadcrumbs into the butter to coat it well. It's not a lot, but just we want to coat these breadcrumbs and have them ready to go on the outside of our chicken. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side. And then what we want to do, I'm just going to cook 4 pieces tonight. So with this recipe, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to take 2 very large chicken breasts, and we're just going to slice them in half. So you just want to kind of find your midway point, and then just cut them so that we'll have 4 thinner pieces. We're not going to roll this chicken up like some people do with chicken cordon bleu. We're just going to do it very simply. So there we've got 2 pieces from that one, and then we'll slice this one and get 2 from it. All right, there we go. Now, here's what we're going to do. I've got this hand that I haven't gotten dirty yet, so I'm going to go ahead and season the chicken at this point. So I'm going to lay all 4 pieces out where I can get just a little bit of salt and pepper on them. Not a lot of pepper, but you do however much you like. And I'm going to flip them and season both sides. We just want to make sure they're going to be good and flavorful. Just a little salt, because you're going to get some more saltiness from these other things that go on top of it. All right, that looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to layer these pieces of chicken into, I'm going to cut this yucky part off. I'm just going to cut that off of this one. There we go. So now we've got our 4 pieces layered in the pan. And so on top of them, what we're going to do, we're going to take 2 slices of ham and just kind of spread it out over 1 piece of chicken. So I've got 2 pieces of ham for each of these. Just like this. All right, now that we've got our ham, we're going to take some cheese. This is Swiss cheese. And I'm going to kind of break each of these slices in half as well. You can just kind of tear it easily and kind of fix it where it covers the whole chicken breast. There we go. Just like that. And then last one. Okay, now that we've got that, we're going to take our breadcrumbs. And what we're going to do is we're just going to cover our chicken with the breadcrumbs. We're not even going to roll it. We're not going to put it on the bottom side. We're just going to cover the top of each piece. And I'm just going to use my hand. I think it might be a little easier to spread it out this way. I'm going to kind of get a little bit and then go back and fill in spaces. Okay. A little bit down here. And then I'm just going to kind of press it on each piece so that it can stay put pretty well. And there you go. Now, let me wash my hands real quick, and then we're going to stick it in the oven, and I'll tell you how long we're going to cook it. Okay, let's go in the oven. We're going to bake it at 350 degrees. It's going to be about 30 to 40 minutes. These were very big chicken breasts, so even though we cut them thinner, they may take closer to the 40-minute mark. You can judge yours based on how thick your chicken is, but you need to make sure it's cooked all the way through with no pink. And so we're going to pop it in for 30 to 40 minutes. All right, when you have about 15 minutes left for the chicken to cook, here's what you need to do. You need to start making the sauce. And so what I have done, I've taken 3 tablespoons of butter and I've melted it. And now that it's melted, I'm going to have this on medium. I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of flour. And you want to whisk this very well. We're just going to kind of make a roux. And then let it cook with just the flour for a minute or two. And then we're going to add some other things to just give it a really good flavor for the Dijon sauce on top of the chicken cordon bleu. Let's see it bubbling good, and that flour's worked very well into the butter now. So now we're going to add about a half a cup of chicken broth. So that's what I have here in this cup. I use this to make my chicken broth. If you have chicken broth in a can, that's fine. If you want to use this, or if you want to use the cubes, whatever you've got. So I'm going to add half a cup. I'm going to whisk that well with the addition of chicken broth. All right, I'm going to scoot it off of here while I get my next ingredient because I don't have it measured out yet. But we want to add 1.5 cups of milk. And so I'm going to do that now. But I don't want that to cook too fast and stick to the pan too much. All right, now I'm going to kind of whisk as I pour. There's 1 cup. All right, and now that we've got a little bit of milk in it, I'm going to go back and get our other half a cup. That'll be fine now while I'm getting it. Okay, about another half a cup. Okay, now we're going to add things that are going to give it flavor. I'm going to salt and pepper it a little bit. You just salt and pepper it to taste. I'm going to add a little bit. Okay, now we're going to add about a tablespoon of some Dijon mustard. And that's about a tablespoon there. I'm going to give just another little squeeze. I'm going to add a little extra of that. All right. Let me give this a quick mix. And that's already going to give it a really good flavor, but I'm going to add one more thing to give it some more flavor, and that's some Worcestershire sauce. We don't need a whole lot of this. I'm probably going to add about 1/2 of a tablespoon. So, whoop. There we go. Just gives a little extra zing to this sauce. It smells good, too, when you add that to it. All right, and let's let this cook and keep stirring it or whisking it. And when it starts to thicken just a little bit, at the end, we're going to add some Parmesan cheese. And that's all it takes to make this sauce. So that's why you want to wait until your chicken is getting close to finished, because it's not going to take this very long. All right, let me show you this. I've just taken the chicken out and it has browned nicely. What you will want to do for just a couple minutes after your chicken has finished cooking, if you'll turn the broiler on, I set it on for about 2 minutes, just gives that nice extra little crusty edge on the panko. So that's what I did. Mine ended up cooking for about 40 minutes. And so now the last ingredient for our sauce, let's finish that up. It started to thicken pretty well. You can see it's a little bit thicker. You don't want it terribly thick though. But we're going to put about a half a cup of some shredded Parmesan cheese. And I'm just going to kind of guess on this. It doesn't have to be exact. That's probably about half a cup right there. And it's going to melt very quickly into this hot, warm sauce. Okay, and I'm going to turn this off because our sauce is finished and that cheese will just finish melting into it. Okay, I've plated some up. We just are going to eat it with some mashed potatoes tonight and some roasted carrots and broccoli. So let me show you how I'm going to serve it. I'm just going to get a little bit of the sauce. And I'm just going to drizzle it right on top of the chicken. Let's do a little bit more. This is where you're going to get a lot of really good flavor, plus the ham and the cheese in the middle. Just a touch more. About like that. And then we're just going to take a little bit of parsley. I'm just going to make it pretty. Sprinkle a little bit of that on top. And that's how we're going to serve our chicken cordon bleu. Think it's going to be a hit. It smells delicious right now. And I think your family would like it too. And you saw how easy that was to put together. Now, if you wanted to go the extra mile and you wanted to coat the whole piece of chicken, you could absolutely do that. But this was a super simple way. And when you lay it on top of the mashed potatoes, you don't even really see that the bottom of the chicken is not crusted. And plus, when it sits in the mashed potatoes, that crust is going to get a little bit soggy anyway. So I think this was a pretty good solution. Okay, I'm going to cut into it, and we're going to give it a taste. I'm going to get this bite down here that's going to have a little bit of cheese and ham. Hopefully, you're going to get that covered over most of the chicken the way that we did it. Okay, a little bit of that. Make sure I got some of that sauce. Okay. It's really good. It's pretty close to what they had on the cruise ship. It doesn't taste exactly like theirs, but it's pretty close. So I think your family would really like this. It's delicious. And if you didn't vote for the chicken cordon bleu, I just wanted to let you know that we had a lot of votes for the Caribbean night too. The jerk pork chops and the Caribbean chicken, those got a lot of votes. So I think we're going to try to do that as well. So be watching for that video to come out in a couple of weeks. We're going to give it our best shot for those foods too. So stick around and watch those when they come out. If you like this content, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe so that you'll always get a notification about when we come out with new videos. We're coming out with new things every week, and we'd love to have you join us here at Mary Katherine's Table. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm really glad that you were here. I enjoyed having you with me. And remember to go out and find someone who needs a little bit of kindness and give them some of yours.